No, you gotta say it right, man.
Honestly,
wow, wow, wee, wow.
I don't know if I can get that. But you guys got it.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into the land of Dawn here. This a best of 3. Once again, it's the hometown heroines versus the former MENA representatives. We had a match of fate in the previous one. Well, we have one here once again as Falcons. They were the reason why Twisted Minds could not qualify for MWI last year. Let's see exactly how this happens in this best of 3. And now, I mean, looking at the lineup, I did not expect Falcons to go in that too. I mean, the Selena is great. It's been pretty good at doing a lot of teams justice and Yui? Okay, yeah. She's fine. She's got the wings by wings. But yeah, Fiven's gonna, this is a very different Fiven, I feel like, that we're gonna see here.
Very. Yeah, and it's gonna be the Roam Selena, by the way, right? This is something that's also kind of strange because we're used to seeing more Selena mids.
Yeah.
And you can already see the impact of that in this game. Yui is having a tough time in a duo mid as Fiven continues to just rotate around, looks for traps, looks for poke, but even then, I'm not too sure about the poke, right? Because early on, without level 2, without the clear, I still think the playstyle is should have been clear out mid first. But here, Sunlight, good rotation over to Miss Meow, getting Yui a bit more.
Ooh, good arrow.
Basic go, nice abyssal arrow landing there, but not enough damage to take her down. Also, you gotta say, Twisted Minds, it's almost like they asked their coach, yo coach, how much gold do we need? Yes, they're gonna have to get a lot of gold. I'm surprised that only one dude, or sorry, one lady went Bargain Hunter.
Yeah, it's an expensive lineup is what we're basically saying here for everybody watching and tuning in. This is one of the lineups that definitely will be a little expensive in terms of building up the items that they need.
Ooh.
And, hold on, okay, Fiven's gonna be fine, mid.
Over to Yui, gonna go for the kill as well, but no, good flicker out.
All right, good flicker. She survives once again, Yui. But this turtle's going to come up here, and this is once again where we see how things break through. I think that is a big point, though. You're kind of relying on the fact that, yeah, you don't have this sort of tankier roam that we're used to seeing in the hands of Fiven, but maybe they play around it, and that's why the Phobius and the Frenchman work so well in this.
Okay, good abyssal arrow into the taunt as well. Now Sunlight continue to go for the pressure. This is going to be Appraiser's Wrath, and now Velvet, Dark Wave, and the abyssal arrow landing. Velvet claims first blood, and now Lyrics on the CC. Gets the curtain call down, but the Dark Wave continues in. Velvet with reset one more time, but she's got to be careful here. Has to flick around. That's going to be the Braceless over forward. Velvet very low. Hyde couldn't go for it. Sunlight still on a neutral objective. It's gonna be a 50-50 retreat battle. Hyde has the Mountain Shocker, but Sunlight claims the first neutral objective of the game.
Wow, I am so surprised Velvet actually survived that. She even burned the flicker earlier on, still able to get away. Just not enough damage to get that one hit in from Hyde earlier on. So an objective secured and a kill in the hands of Team Falcons, but Twisted Minds still on par here to keep things from getting out of control. Lyrics for the majority of the time too. Once again, this CC has been really good in the XP lane in these fights and the skirmishes, but Twisted Minds might have to go ahead and look to play in the fact that if they want to go ahead and set things up there. They've really been trying in the mid lane, but now that you have Livin with the Minoyan's Fury available, maybe they can do that. The combination of Minoyan's Fury and the Traction Pulse is going to be something that Team Falcons wants to be wary of. They want to watch out for that, and I think, again, that's why they have this lineup that they have. Durability, sustainability themselves, but also options to get out of the fights if they have to.
And that's what we're seeing now, right? When they don't need to fight, they don't need to. It's fine. They don't have to. They're just going to wait for the neutral objectives, play their game, and play it slow. And Twisted Minds kind of get value out of that too, though, because they want the game to be slow. They want to farm up. In the bottom lane is going to be the gank over to Velvet. No flicker this time around. And Velvet gets out despite a two-man attempt down below.
That's what Phobius does so well, you know? You can, it's maybe not as good as a glue where you're going 1v3, but almost to a sense where it's like, okay, if Phobius especially is able to get these procs off, well, maybe it's fine.
Yeah, really good weak side play. I remember just last year, Naisu, MWI 2024, it was shocking for the Falcons members to finally receive this kind of reception from the crowd. And I'm only thinking now, is it the same for Twisted Minds, right? Going up against Falcons with this crowd, is it added pressure for them? Because Velvet seems like she's super comfortable here, wants to go for more, actually wins out of the trade against Lyrics. Falcons, again, have set up better for the neutral objective. Despite the early push up top, Names is in a very comfortable position, and Falcons just want to contest it.
Go ahead and pull this tunnel out, the objective, wait for it, go grab the buffs, and build up on that once again. For a lot of these teams, especially at MWI last year, we heard that shared through some of the interviews where, maybe being on the stage for the first time or dealing with this type of environment and setup played an effect, right? And for Team Falcons, they've definitely locked in since then. This turtle looks like it might just be theirs unless...
Yeah, no. Pre-retry for Sunlight with Minions Fury, but only to the frontliners there as the Feather Airstrike dishes out damage. Razor's Wrath, big bonk forward. Tracer's coming out. Bevan goes in for the flicker, finds the kill. Velvet very low, but it doesn't matter. She gets away as Sunlight wants to go for more. Doesn't actually go and gets the gold crab. We'll let Lyrics take it. Names.
Oh, Livin wants to jump in there.
Yeah, that looks scary for a bit. Velvet, very risky recall.
Yeah, at a new moment, Livin could have just jumped in there probably, but nonetheless, a turret's gonna fall down too here. Team Falcons winning on the objectives, winning on the macro level so far. Twisted Minds is gonna want to respond to this. Retribution?
Yeah, good curtain call, good damage, but Sunlight just wants to lock her down, and she will be able to. Look at the resets from Velvet. Good rotation from Lyrics. She's baited out these Falcons have baited out the Vengeance. Traction pulls! Brings Bevan back. Mountain Shocker there too as Lunar gets a shot down to pick up a kill.
Okay, a response is what they're able to find it. They put themselves on the board here for Twisted Minds. So at least that's something for them. They don't want to let this get too out of hand, and Twisted Minds will have to go ahead and play that part. We know this too with the Bruno. You need just a little bit of a time to go ahead and get online. What is it? Is it still the 2 items that the Bruno really needs, or do we extend it to 3 items now?
I'd say it's still 3. Yeah? I'd still say 3 right now. I guess 3 because of the Malefic gun, but when it comes to just pure damage, 2 is enough. If you want to deal more reliable damage, you need to wait for that Malefic gun. But yeah, very quick so far. The gold lane seems to be both Lunar and Names farming. I think normally Dreadnought Armor Rush earlier from Velvet there. That's going to be the Golden Staff too. Already picked up by Name, so everything is playing out, I think, as expected. They're going to go on to Velvet, who's still holding her ground despite all of this. Goes for the shoulder bash on Lyrics. Wow, they clear out the wave. This is going to be a bad time. Minions Fury using it already. Velvet is actually just going with it for the pursuit. It's going to be the punish over. A few shots down as well. But Velvet gets away now. The Feather Airstrike as Bevan flickers back, and Names is just wreaking havoc on the structures of Twisted Minds. She's going to get the holy defense down below.
Wow. This early on, 7.5 minutes in, you get that shield down. Great work from Names. Great response from Team Falcons. Twisted Minds expended a whole lot for that turret. They might be able to get this turtle though, unless, again, Velvet and Names are here.
Names rotating already. High finally wins out the retreat battle, but Lyrics is caught all alone. Names gonna be able to get those piercing spear shots down. Abyssal Arrow almost canceling the recall of Lunar.
Yeah, Names has been doing work. It looks like their eyes are still set on some more turrets up here on top. They're gonna go and try to get that tier 1. They should clear that out. So Team Falcons playing the macro game. I gotta say, Miracle, we've seen these girls from Team Falcons play in quite a few tournaments internationally up to this point, and the improvements are apparent.
No, not good at all, man. You have to flicker out on a Minotaur. This is your only source of engage. This is the only guy that can engage from your team. The fact that she has to use the flicker defensively means it's kind of now they're forced to play reactive the whole time. Mountain Shocker used up, but Sunlight just gets away. Perfect spacing. Mobilization over to Velvet. Curtain call as well. Velvet taking a big shot. Sunlight with a taunt as well. Names gets a turret as a Minions Fury used reactively. And Abraser's Wrath just to the mini waves. They get the tier 1 and they're happy with it.
That's such a weak point of the lineup from Twisted Minds. As you just mentioned, if the flicker is not available for Livin, how do you set things up? Maybe, just maybe you can rely on the traction pulse, but really, there's none of that surprise factor from the Minotaur, and that seems to be the struggle, at least so far, for MWI here, and you can see that Names picking up the DHS, definitely going to shred through some of the tankier members now from Twisted Minds, so they're set up really well for the first Lord take. Looking at Twisted Minds' items, you can see, especially defensively, they still need some time to go ahead and build up. Specifically, it's only a Dominance Ice for Livin, and that's why even so, she's forced to burn the flicker half the time on a defensive instead of being more aggressive with it, just because she can't really withstand being overloaded with the damage over here that we're seeing from Team Falcons.
At this point, Falcons can also take as much as they can provide, right? Like, They can take as much as they can give. Maybe actually they might be able to give more out. That's an interesting choice. Lyrics, curtain call over to Fevin. You would wanna, I usually save it up for the frontliners. The Mountain Shocker as well. I think the Twisted Minds are just using the resources a bit too honest.
Little expensive, right? I mean, that's still the nature of the game. Oh, Minoan Fury, that's gone. So, and Lunar's too low. This is just a Lord here.
They're getting macroed so hard right now. Names shoots the SOD, lands it from the bottom lane, teleports to the mid lane, and it becomes a free Lord to Team Falcons. Wow. Talk about macro, talk about wave manipulation. Falcons, they're flying in game one.
I was going to say that the calculations from Team Falcons right now, they're doing everything right up to this point. It's not one of those games where it's a bunch of kills happening. It's really just disciplined macro that we're seeing here from Team Falcons, and the fighting potential, if they do break out into a fight, is in their favor. You're looking at the damage dealt here, of course.
Already?
Yeah, Malefic Roar is going to be picked up this early on, and even though they're able to pump out quite a bit of damage for Twisted Minds, they can't capitalize on it. And again, the glaring issue is that setup potential. Livin has so much responsibility, even alongside maybe Miss Meow here, but defending against us again. That shield was down in the bottom side. Velvet's taking a couple shots. Still have the shield seal in the mid and the top. Where does Team Falcons go from here?
Double top from Sunlight. Doesn't have enough stacks to go for the Appraiser's Rat just yet. They're taking a wave slow in the bottom lane, shoving in the mid lane. Heames! Almost. That was a big threat to Lyrics. Now the Feather Airstrike as well. Not landing, but it's enough to zone them away from the base turret. Good Missile Arrow landing as well. The trap will spot Lyrics. And that will be all. Falcons decide to play it clean, disciplined.
Yeah, that's been the theme of their entire game one so far from Team Falcons. They get one base turret that was started earlier on from Names when she was able to push in that wave. Lyrics
into the Vengeance, doesn't care. Taunt as well from Sunlight, but his Fury coming out, but the flicker over Sunlight survives again. The Dark Wave doesn't land, but the mid lane is getting sieged down by the Cannon Minion. Feathered Airstrike. It's a nuke at this point. SOD! Games! With a flying in the bag, and now looks for more flickers out to safety. A few shots down as Miss Meow gets something on the board finally. But Falcons are truly controlling the pace.
You could see the smile on Names when she did that too. Right on the mark. Comes in to get a kill. But Twisted Minds, amidst it all, hold on to that mid turret still. It's one hit away. They'll have to go ahead and try to really get back into this game. This is the instant replay. Once again, that we can see mid lane, Lunar quite low. Names lines up the shot, even with the dash. She follows on through, gets the heal, and flickers out defensively. You know, Twisted Minds, like I said, you can see there, that deserving of the excitement there for them. But Twisted Minds, it's a 5,000 gold deficit. Here's some defensive items being picked up. You now have an Aegis for Livin. Lunar just picked up the Malefic Gun. This is what we were talking about earlier on. But I feel like still it's really difficult to find a opportunity to fight, you know, because either you're zoned out from the Feathered Airstrike from Yui, or you have to deal with kind of juggling around the arrows. And that's always a difficult task for the teams that are playing against the Selena, is bobbing and weaving through arrows, but also being worried about not getting dropped down from a Feathered Airstrike. So they have control of the objective, and it's going to be Team Falcons just to take this one. Twisted Minds split around on the map. They're just going to get what they can, but they do make their way here.
Tucker! High gets the steal! Names able to land SOD, goes straight for the back, goes for the pin down, and finds Miss Meow. Lyrics next to the chopping block as Team Falcons try to get more, but Twisted Mind somehow.
Did she get that with the board?
She did. It was just a Mountain Chakra, I believe. We'll hope for a replay, I'm guessing now, but Team Falcons, despite the Lord being taken, I think they might just go for it. No, they can't. No minion waves. We're going to see this game go a bit longer now. An attempt from High to do what she did earlier, but Names is a bit too quick with those Abyss steps.
She's going to be fine. Livin'. No flicker available. So Lord's already cleared out. They'll manage the waves, but still Twisted Minds off of that. Buys themselves a little bit more time. I didn't even think that was going to be a possibility as I saw them rotating to the Lord, and then boom.
That shouldn't have been possible, Naisu. That's kind of like an Owen fist crack steal.
Yeah, it's definitely, okay, we're going to see the instant replay here. Look at this setup. She makes her way. I mean, She's quite far from it.
So far.
Hits the Mountain Shocker, so the Mountain Shocker was used.
He gets vision. He walks up.
He waits patiently, too.
This has to be just a Mountain Shocker.
No, it's the board.
Oh, it's just the board. It's a Mountain Shocker. The Sunlight just retrieved early. You hate to see it.
That's, again, the chances of that happening are not great, but it did happen this fight, though.
And all in with the Praise Wrath as well. Oh, traction pulse! Miss Meow brings them all together for the AoE damage to come through, and all of a sudden, Team Falcons are the ones on the back foot.
They take too many of those interactions. They're going to find themselves without that gold lead anymore and without the control around the map. Still, it is all for Team Falcons. They have the turret advantage, they have the gold advantage, but you're seeing Twisted Minds in a position to actually fight as they start to make their way towards this side of the map. They want these mid turrets down.
You gotta remember, Nice, we were talking about how expensive this lineup is, but once you get the gold, it's gonna be massive. Appraiser's Wrath, the Feather Airstrike, oh, everyone low. Names on the other side, the SOD! Last of the back, Names takes it. An Abyssal Arrow almost landing. A wave up top, crashing down to the base turret as Team Falcons looks to capitalize. Another Abyssal Arrow landing over, now it's gonna be Spirit of Misery, no, not used just yet. Names, slowly but surely getting through it, Miss Meow. Unable to punish the overextending Moskov.
Man, I'm just thinking, you know, I know she threw down the Spear of Destruction, but what if she actually pushed in that turret too? That would have possibly been another base turret down for Team Falcons to work on, but ultimately they weren't able to capitalize on any kills. They'll have to clear out these waves. That Lord's coming up in 10. So the advantage right now that Team Falcons has is also the base turrets being down at Twisted Minds. So Twisted Minds is gonna have to deal with these waves that are going to be pushing in. The Lord is up now. You can already see the positioning happening here. Live in the rest, a couple other members, and Arrow's going to go ahead and spot them out. So this is a fight, a battle for an advantage in terms of the objective. Now, if Hyde can pull that off again, man, I don't know. Like, maybe you just go for that.
You got to keep on going for it, man, if you can. Twisted Minds at this point of the game, I would say damage-wise, they're better than Team Falcons. Right now, Team Falcons, they need to play the way they did when they got the lead.
Yeah.
They played the macro game. They played with the side lanes, not like this. Oh, Velvet. In the midst of it all, Names able to go in, but he gets knocked up instead. Doesn't get the kill on Lyrics now. As Sunlight tries to go for the cut. Lyrics able to escape still. Names doing some damage, but Lunar, the crit damage is going crazy. Kiting away against 4 members. Yui takes her down, and Team Falcons are back where they left. Now with a massive lead on the Lord. 17 minutes in, not evolved, but it should be enough to finally close this game out.
Okay, they secure that. They got 2 kills off the exchange. It looked a little messy there for a second. Yeah, a little dicey. But Team Falcons, with this Lord, will possibly be able to end it. Can Twisted Minds defend? We're going to look at the instant replay. Woo. Again, this fight was started. Names joined in. Lunar almost got Names. I mean, if it was maybe one more crit or hit, she would have taken out Names, and that would have been big. But still, she was overloaded, gets taken down. And now this Lord making its way to the mid lane. Team Falcons will play into the top side as well as they clear it out. Looking at the defensiveness here that Twisted Minds has and enough firepower, it's still, again, Lunar, respect that damage. You can see she is still looking to build up. Oh, Narrow. Oh, no. Dark Wave.
Lunar taken out by Vivid. 3-man Minus Fury there, and he's giving it all in over to the back. Velvet still walking up, and the front of Pursuit, but will be taken down. Names has Immortality. The Vengeance gets her down. Names still able to survive as, again, Hyde continues to hold that Lord from hitting the crystal. Falcons very low. Base turret, one last one up top. Names goes for it here. Lyrics doing some damage. Rose Gold Meteor keeping Names alive. Lyrics walks up and with the flank coming against the wall. Names Spear of Misery and a step forward for Sunlight to get the stab in.
Oh, Names actually pulls it off. They're down a couple members and the waves are going to be pushing in.
Master Feather Airstrike over to Miss Meow, zoning her in the back now as Traceless gets used up. It's a big move and it will be punished. Livin' won't be able to get much. Miss Meow gets a traction pulse and the burn on the glowing wand takes Names down for the first time in this game.
They were trying to decide, do we stay here? Can we end the game? And Twisted Mind says, we'll take that shot. Again, they have to watch out for so much. Again, the traction pulse alone is enough to put a threat on Team Falcons, but the job is to get those base turrets down. They did that. It took them a little bit longer, but You know, you said it, Mirko, the fighting potential of this lineup, because the game has continued up to this point, we're past the 20-minute mark. I would say Twisted Minds can win these fights. Still, Team Falcons has to be very careful on how they approach the next fights that are going to be coming up. You have less than a minute for that Lord, but I think, honestly, Twisted Minds, I expect them to contest it. Part of it, though, is, again, they need someone to manage the base. Yeah. That is always going to be advantage. Maybe we see Team Falcons now decide to, you know what, names, be that pressure. Go to the bottom side of the map, or maybe, and push those waves in so that Twisted Minds has to respond and we just secure the Lord. That could also be a plan of action here for Team Falcons.
At this point, I'm thinking more, right, names needs a bit more range. You went for the Melfic Roar.
Yeah.
It's a good item to get when you're ahead, but now the game's a lot more equal, a lot more even. I think she might have to swap it out for the Melfic Gun. It'll give her more value, I think, at the end of the day here. Lord Evolve finally spawning in the game, and this should be the final Lord of the game. But again, for Team Falcons, they got to play the macro game. They can't just go in for a head-on brawl against Twisted Minds, who have weathered the storm to a point where their item builds are just like Falcons. At this point, the goal leads on Twisted Minds.
You can see this now. It's a face-off.
Full items.
They kept Miss Meow there. Ooh. Sunlight's going to jump in. You gotta watch out for Livin. Livin has the flicker.
SOD lands.
She landed it. I don't think she follows through though. Fight though.
Names. Lord. The SOD was still open. Velvet jumps up in front pursuit now as they go for Lyrics. No flicker for Livin. Just goes for the knockup onto one. Mountain Shocker used up and baited out by Fivin. This should be a free Lord as Velvet continues to chase in the back, but will be in a bad spot. Pops into a crowd. Flickers out the safety. Fivin there, and Lunar gets the kill. Who gets the Lord? Sunlight secures it for Team Falcons. That's an evolved Lord. Livin goes over the knockup now as Sunlight walks up. No praise or sprat. That's nasty with Lunar! Flickering forward, getting the damage. Worldy over the crits. Almost getting Yui down. 3 members stay alive, and Team Falcons walk away with the evolved Lord.
Twisted Minds is still ready to fight. It doesn't matter. They'll take those chances, and Team Falcons might have gotten the Lord. But can they end this here? Still quite a bit of time for those death timers to come through. And this is an evolved Lord. They should be able to push this in with Twisted Minds. How do they handle this? Lunar has been phenomenal so far in the positioning. Will she be able to stay alive and live in? Doesn't have the flicker for this defense. It looks like they just want to stall this out. They just want to clear this out. They know they have a numbers advantage.
That SOD is... No way. That's suicide. Lord Evolve cleared in the 22nd minute of game 1.
It's our longest game time right now. This got to be a 23 plus.
It's up there.
It's up there right now.
Might be able to beat it.
This might be the one. Because right now, Twisted Minds has done an amazing job at bringing this game back under control, now in their favor. Yes, they still need to get turrets down, but you're seeing it. I think even by the next Lord, it's going to be nearly the same thing. Sunlight.
Oh, good dodge. Nice sidestep there. Feathered airstrike baited out too. Might be going for the all-in attack. No, they gotta respect this. Curtain call, that's about it. I think they still need to send names into the bottom lane. They're playing a bit too scared now after losing the lead and now giving over a 4,000 goal lead to Twisted Minds. They're playing scared. They're playing how they used to get the lead. Names.
This is a little dicey right here.
Very dangerous position to be in, and she realizes that, backs away.
You just don't want to be caught, you know, all together too with the traction pulse from Miss Meow.
Oh yeah.
And especially with Livin, because Livin was having a, she was having a different time living earlier on, like on the Minotaur, right? But now she's tanky enough and she has enough defensive items that she's able to go ahead and survive a lot of that. And the Flask of the Oasis too for a Minotaur is actually quite a bit of healing potential for the team when they're all bunched up together anyway. So there is a switch, as you mentioned, for names. She did pick up the Malefic Gun to go ahead and have a little bit more range to work with here. And maybe that hesitation that we've seen in some of the fights is starting to set in.
Whoa.
Lyrics jumps in.
The shoulder bash by the airstrike there as well. Fraser's round the flicker from Velvet. The Mountain Shocker stuns Sunlight now. Good Winter Crown to avoid him in his fury. And that's about it for the skirmish. Some big resources. No Minion's Fury, no Mountain Shocker. But the big cooldown, I think it's on Winter Crown.
Yeah,
and
Winter
Flicker.
Crown. So again,
whoa.
This is a standoff for this Lord. Maybe Names goes, does she don't know. I think she just wants to stay with the team. On this one, there's going to be a couple shots, of course, from Lunar. Lord's going to be held here for now.
So hold mid.
Some minds, yeah, they have to hold mid. They have to do something. Sunlight?
They're split up right now. Sunlight has to respect it, and she does. Wave in bottom lane, pushing in. So Twisted Minds are the ones going up against the clock. Falcons could play the long game. Lunar!
Close. Under the half health mark still.
SOD.
Oh, SOD won't find anybody. So maybe this is the moment. They've got the information that it's a numbers advantage. They're going to fight for the Lord here.
Big crits from Lunar, but she gets stunned up. Now Fiven looking for the play. Flickers out already. Lyrics with a curtain call onto 2 as Velvet walks back into the fight. Abyssal Arrow not landing. Dewey unable to get the stun down. Bottom wave is building up. It's going to crash into the base. Team Falcons are playing a macro game, and Twisted Minds are forced to react. Miss Meow back into the bottom lane again.
They know this might be a window for them to go in and clear it out.
Velvet very low. Lunar already there. Infernal pursuit from Velvet. Now constantly looking for it. The Dark Wave doesn't land, and Lunar is still able to pre-hit. His hide goes for the kill. Finds the kill on Velvet. Names now caught very low. Has the dash backwards. Has the immortality. In a way, bottom lane is dealt with already, and the Lord will be taken by Twisted Minds.
Twisted Minds making it happen again. They have an exposed base. All the work the past 10 minutes have now brought them to this moment. They're going to be marching down the mid lane with this beefy Lord. This is going to be tough for Team Falcons to go ahead and deal with. You can see it, Lunar picking up an immortality as well. This is where some of these defensive items come into play. They're all immortality'd up here for Team Falcons. Velvet's still down. Here's the push in.
Lyrics will die straight up, walked up a bit too aggressively. That could have costed them the game-ending play. Sunlight in the front, going for the dash backwards again. Fiven taking a lot of damage. The base turret down. Lord Evolve giving them a lot of damage reduction. It is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Usually we expect the Evolve Lord to be the final Lord of the game, but we have gone past 2 big Evolve Lords and survived.
27 minutes in. This one definitely one of our longer games so far here at MWI, and I think it's going to be a statement for the series ahead of us.
Whoa, no, names.
You don't follow that little check right there for Team Falcons. You know, and at this point too, the gold lead and everything else doesn't really matter, but we will see the changing of items as this game continues on. For both these teams, as we've seen, you know, again, a lot of immortalities will come into play, but once those are popped, then you have to consider the winner crowns, and even down to, you know, possibly some shieldings here with, for example, the rose golds, depending on how the fights break out. So it's really a fight, a battle for the Lord objective. And I guess if we bring it up to what is the advantage that Team Falcons has, it's still, they hold on to some of the base turrets. And maybe, like I said earlier, I said this about 10 minutes ago, man. I was like, maybe Names needs to just be on the other side of the map.
I agree.
Put enough pressure on the off lane down on bottom to maybe end the game or just get enough time.
Yep.
But that, you know, it's really easy to say, like, yeah, just put Names, just put a Mozkov on the other side of the map, push that lane in, win the game. But there's a lot that goes into it. You can see this too. Lunar taking a couple shots. They'll spot out, live in. But this Lord is up. This is almost a 29-minute Lord. Twisted Minds. Can they pull it off again? Can they fight the back and forth, the pendulum match between Team Falcons? As Miss Meow goes and clears out the waves as everybody else centers around this Lord.
I agree with you, Naisu. I think they have to put Names down below. It's going to be tough. Livin'? Oh, that might have been a mistake. Minis Fury defensively with the flicker to Sunlight. Bursts it down. Has the immortality. Traction pulse. Brings her back in. Winter Crown bot already. Buys enough time. Fiven in the back. Getting so much damage done to her. Livin going away. That's a Spear of Misery from Naves. But it's Velvet who loses the immortality and the Winter Crown. Has a flicker around. Goes back in. Now shoulder bash. And it's Miss Meow who claims the killing spree. And they're rushing. They're sending it mid.
Oh no, this is not looking good. Twisted Minds wants to end the game here. Can Names and the rest keep it from happening?
Traction pulse landing. Names getting brought back. Lyrics able to go for the curtain call now. Sunlight provides the peel. High very low. Gets taken out by Immortality. Lunar still alive. Names. Immortality down as well. Now Fiven gets the back line. Rose Gold Meteor bought by Names now as Twisted Minds are unable to end the game. Falcons, hold on.
She has the spear too. She threw it. I don't think you follow that up. Nope, there's going to be no follow through. Twisted Minds looks to get a position for the Lord here. They still have the top and bottom waves pushing in
Big
too.
waves, man.
They have to go deal with these. So this gives a window of opportunity to Team Falcons to start this Lord. Potentially take it. They burst it. It's too tanky, man. Lyrics and Livid are here.
They gotta go on Lyrics. They gotta go for members
something.
first. Lyrics! Very low. Minus Fury knocks no names. Gets away just in time with a blink. Kimi still up top. Lyrics burning down to the damage of Yui. High with a mountain shot compared to his own damage coming down for the follow-up. Lunar, look at the worldie bouncing in. Names gotta be careful. The Lord has slain Names.
No! That's not what they wanted to happen either, and Names had nowhere to go from there.
No jungler. Sunlight is back in the base. Hyde, all she needs to do is retreat. She does it and she gets it. An abyssal arrow to Lunar does not matter. Twisted Minds with a 15,000 gold lead in the 30th minute of the game. This, Naisu, this should be the end.
This has to be. If this is still a Lord that we see not ending the game, look at the instant replay here. This is so unfortunate. They find Lyrics and they think maybe this is our chance to go in.
She actually hit the Lord.
She hit the Lord, the worldie, the Lord is just working on her, and then the effect too, you can see the she knows.
She knows.
She knows that that was the unfortunate cause of that decision, and now
how do you hold this?
The base wide open here for Twisted Minds to go forward. Defend once again.
Levin brought back against Sunlight, doing a good job at delaying the wave from crashing into the crystal. Finish Fury used up, only to the mini waves now. Lord still very healthy. Yui caught immortality down. Miss Meow zoom in, laser in over. Names next to the chopping block, still able to survive now. She goes for the clear as well, but tries to buy enough time in the back nine with the winner crown as well, but will be taken down. It is going to be a full-on comeback from Twisted Minds.
Our longest game so far here at MWI, and what a turnaround it was for Twisted Minds. Defense after defense, fight after fight. You can see the smiles on their faces because, man, that takes a lot of endurance, a lot of fortitude mentally to stay in the game that long, man, to turn these fights around and, you know, capitalize on the own mistakes that were there from Team Falcons. So, hey, Twisted Minds, they made it happen in game one.
They did. Against all odds. Another underdog run that we might not have expected. We saw it from Gaming Gladiators, able to slay one of the major MLBB regions in Navi, Malaysia. Could be another one here today with Twisted Minds taking game one off of the hometown heroes.
Let's throw it over to this
Thank you very much, Mirko and Naisu. And let me just say, I don't need to know the stats to know that this is indeed the longest game that we've had all MWI. And because it's a very long game, there's a lot for us to break down.
At this point, a lot has happened that I don't even know where to start. I mean, Team Falcons could have won the game around 16 minutes, 12 minutes even, or probably 15 or at an earlier time. But Twisted Minds, surprisingly, they made a way to make it work and even extend the game and eventually win the game. And this is where the marksman heroes shines when they already have full item, Minotaur with a flask of Oasis. The rest was history for Twisted Minds.
And I think that there's a lot of things that could be said, that the timing, the itemization was so late for their own positioning as well as their own choice of timing itself. Because the fact is, I feel like it could have gone to the way that they could have known that, oh, this is a time that we could attack. This is a time that we know what damage we could done, what is the setup that we could do to backfire or even to counterattack every single motion that was done by the enemy.
I gotta say, we really gotta look at the items later on because this is one of those games where we have the time to, by the way, it was 33 minutes and it was only 12 kills to 13, so.
Yeah, imagine the discipline.
Yeah, the discipline, right? That's
timing.
so good.
Yeah, I think they really know how their heroes are somehow spiking in terms of damage, specifically for Twisted Minds. Early parts of the game, it was just literally Team Falcons dictating the game, but at some point, we'll see that later on, the progression of the item. At some point, for Twisted Minds, they get those items that are needed to actually negate or somehow keep Team Falcons at bay that made it very efficient for them. I mean, if you don't win with the three marksman hero composition with full item, I don't know what happened if that's the case.
Yeah, now we gotta talk about actually the Minotaur because we noticed in the game, Flash of the Oasis is kind of important on Minotaur, but she completed it on 21 minutes. Literally almost at the end of the game, then you completed one of your core items. And lo and behold, after the Flash was completed, then they started winning.
I think the fact that they actually take so much time to actually progress that and to a point that they know they did it that and also we see the fact that there were certain times that Spear of Destruction that was used wasn't actually getting the follow-up that was needed. It got hit, but then there was nothing that could be done to continue the attack that was done by Team Falcon itself. And the question is right now, as we see from time to time again, those are a lot of damages that was done by both sides of team itself.
Let me just take this moment to say Lyrics did 114,000 damage, Miss Meow 108,000 damage, Names 143,000 damage, Vivin the Roamer 120,000 damage, Yui 160,000 damage.
Lafel and Pasha, it was a 30-minute game.
Yeah.
It is expected, but probably because they dealt so much damage, but at the same time, they also have heroes that could sustain damage over time. And if we go back to the thought, a lot of emphasis on the Flask of Oasis. Normally, when we see other teams build the Flask of Oasis, it is at the early game because we know the edge of a Minotaur with the Flask of Oasis. Not just from the heals, but also the cooldown reduction. So that's why for the side of Twisted Minds, okay, I have the Flask of Oasis. Let's do this. Let's just jump in front of the players of Team Falcons. And for Team Falcons, there's no other way out because there's the physical penetration. You even have the Malefic Gun for the Bruno, and the rest was just like compiling from time to time that the damage isn't that sustainable anymore for the heroes of Team Falcons.
Just to say how big of a difference without cooldown reduction, playing Minotaur without the Flash is like between 50 to 60 seconds, and then with the Flash, it's around 40 seconds. So that's like a 20-second cooldown, seconds difference. So just by itself, it's already good because she built the Athena shield as well as the Immortal early, and none of that has any cooldown.
None of that has any cooldowns, and the fact that there was a lot of hesitant as well for them to jump in for any initiation. And those are the things. They've already got one of the players from Team Falcons to shut down, but then even more, they were like, can we go on? Can we continue on this fight? But then they pull back again and gives more leeway for Team Falcons to just get back up on their feet.
And now we got to look at the head-to-head for both roamers because I really feel like for both really contributed a lot into the match. And may I say, rarely do I see a roamer with over 100,000 damage. Kind of doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. And this is like the
oh my god, average damage per minute is already high. Okay, go on.
1,238 average damage per minute, but it all was done on that kill participation very high for Livin, but again, the hero kills is at 12-13. So it means that for Twisted Minds, they just needed those equipments or even items just to be able to set up a play against the Team Falcons. Because if you look at the draft alone, definitely early game, it will be Team Falcons winning the game. They have the burst, they have the crowd control on Vince hero. But for Twisted Minds, as long as there's a solid frontliner, full item, 3 marksman lineup, then they are really able to win that game.
Now, the question is, is it because that Team Falcons already throw away for the first game that they don't want to use the healer method, the healer support heroes itself, that they're kind of a little bit not compatible or not comfortable with the pick of Selena itself because they're already used to the draft that they've done. They want to have a Chandras, they want to have the healer support for themselves, but then now it doesn't seem like it, you know?
Yeah, not that I disagree on a Team Falcons hero composition. It's just that they don't really know how to end the game, or maybe just Twisted Minds really knew how to defend their base. But anyway, because of that, it's really evident on the game that the highest damage per minute is gonna be Yui. We have Livin, Miss Meow, and even Livin sharing a piece on the other factors of the game.
Yeah.
Damage taken per minute. We have the heals also, the motivation roar. For the Minotaur, you have Miss Meow. Miss Meow, by the way, was very efficient early game. Maybe one of the many reasons as to why Twisted Minds was able to somehow defend their base. Clearing the minion wave was easy if you have 3 marksmen.
Yeah.
I'd love that in a ranked game.
Honestly, for this one, I feel like for both teams, you just got to figure out how to end the game. But also, this might be just because of them knowing each other very well. They kind of know how to defend against them. Because, like, I know this person won't overextend. So we'll just do this, do that, and then we'll be fine.
It's tough, definitely. I think that there's
it was
too
very
much,
tough.
It was too much
course.
respect, too much of questions in their head. They're pondering too much of what decision making they want to do. So coming into this match number 2, hopefully they will be a bit more confident with their decision making and the shot call for this game.
I got to say, personally for me, as a roamer, there's a time, don't respect your opponents. If you think you can just go in, just go in.
Yeah, specifically if you have the flicker, you have the immortality. It's like the go signal that you can dive in anytime. If you are up against a healer type of composition, it means that you need to bring in a lot of chaos, because playing a healer meta means that you're very systematic. You have someone up front, and then you have the heals. Let's just sustain everything. And it's just Twisted Minds. Kudos, by the way, for twisting our minds.
They definitely twisted our minds. And now, speaking of which, we have a quote coming in from Livin. She said the best part in this tournament so far, we were really surprised and touched to see fans here chanting and cheering for us. It made us feel more relaxed, calm, and comfortable. Such a great vibe.
Of course, we can actually hear them from here. I think on the latter portions of the game, I can't even hear Mirko and Naisu. A monitor because of the cheers of the crowd. Really a vibe for our SNB match of the day.
Yeah.
I think pretty much those are the crucial things that, first of all, when they walked out, yes, there was a little bit of tension for that. But then again, I think that they built that up for that. They have that momentum, their spirits, and those are the things that, and you can even see there was one fans at this that was holding the Twisted Mind doll, right? That's so cute. Those are the
there's
things.
a statue outside,
Yeah,
right?
outside.
Come on,
Do
it's
we
a
call
big
it the
statue.
mind?
I honestly have no idea. I don't know if that's like copyrighted. So
We can confirm later on.
I'm just gonna be more careful on that one. Either ways, jumping into this game, let's talk about this. They don't really have that much time. They have like what, 5 to 10 minutes to really discuss. So I hope the coaches have enough time with the players, because here's the thing: you just got off of a 30-minute game. You must be pretty exhausted going into game number 2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that you haven't even enough time to actually reset back your mind, reset back all your energy after
why you got
so much
twisted.
of your... They got twisted. Yeah, definitely. I like that thought, Zen. And the fact that it seems that, again, the question is, what are you going to do right now, knowing for a fact that there was nothing wrong with the draft? The only problem is that the itemization was just not in the right time, was not at the proper time. And the moment that the decision-making, the action that is need to be put out at the moment, it has to be reset again, and as well as to be quick. Really fast response needed to be done by both of the teams.
Yeah, I agree on that, because for Team Falcons, there's just this certain period for, as we call that, lineup to be effective. And at that moment, the grace period was at the limit already. that it was easier for Twisted Minds to pull off their hero composition. But enough of that. Of course, for Team Falcons, they now will get the Kimi instead. So at least they get a mid laner that is more on the DPS, because knowing the playstyle of both, I think they are struggling on longer team fights. So whoever has more damage per second whenever the team fight is extended has better advantage as compared to the Farsa. But Farsa is not open, so I won't talk about her.
But that's a Tiando.
Oh,
Right?
Tien, yeah. I mean,
It
like,
helps when your roamer cannot engage, the mid can engage.
oh, that's true though. With the Fury of the Phoenix, definitely with the CC, you can definitely stun out a little bit. Helped out with the team fight as well. It can be counterized, definitely be used for two sides. But at the same time, seeing that Kimi has already been picked off by Team Falcons, they responded back with Moskov as the priority as well as Kalea. And I think we talked about how Kalea hasn't been actually been picked up just yet for today, and this is going to be the first experience of Kalea coming into our game.
And mind you, I think this is a more familiar territory for Twisted Minds, because they have been using Kalea very much in this competition. And a lot of people might ask why they picked Moskov this early, because we saw the potential of having 3 marksmen in a draft. But you can pull that off, and we know the threat of a Moskov, hence the priority on the Moskov. I'm just not sure if oh, there you go. I was thinking about, I was about to say Estes.
Oh,
Now we go with the enchanters, and now we have the healers.
We talked about it. Now, again, that's what I'm talking about. Team Falcon was not comfortable with the draft itself. Yes, they were confident. They were confident. They were trying to try something new. They want to make sure that they can actually turn things around. They thought they could twist the Twisted Mind by not using the particular or the signature heroes they use. But now they say like, oh, no, that's it. We're clearing it out again. We're gonna scrub out everything that we've done. We're back to the first draft that we've done before.
At this point, let's remove all the meta. Let's just play on our comfortable heroes. As we see Xborg being taken here by Twisted Minds. I mean, true damage, but it would take a lot of time again. Same with the Moskov, needs the item. Same approach with Xborg. I think it's gonna be hard for the Xborg though, because you have the Kimi.
Yeah, first of all, I don't know what to think about, because in my mind, Estes is meta, okay? Like, it's...
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty good. It's pretty high. Anyways, right now, betting out the Melissa kind of shows that they want to go more dive. So maybe they're looking for like a Lapu Lapu after this, because Melissa actually does push the Lapu Lapu away unless he was using the Bravest Fighter ultimate slashes. So that's going to be good. I'm just wondering, I agree with you. Kimi can deal with the Xborg, so they need something to deal with the Kimi. And looking at their lineup right now, I don't really see anyone diving to the back to deal with the Kimi, so I wonder if later on...
Saber. Just kidding. No, you don't want to dedicate a specific hero just for the Kimi, right? Not unless...
No, I'm just thinking like they should ban the Lapu, right? And then like force Twisted Mind on something like, I don't know, a Yuzong?
Yeah, definitely. That's actually a really good option for the side of Twisted Mind if Team Falcons is already reading to their thoughts itself. And the fact that...
Or what if the Xbox, they just put it on EXP, right? And then put a jungle assassin.
Yeah, that could be a great shift for the trajectory of the lineup of Twisted Minds. Since, again, we've talked about the flexibility of the heroes, so that somehow Team Falcons will be caught off guard. Since they have this pattern whenever they go for the healer strategy. So, now that you have Estes, Barretts, and Kimi, I think for Team Falcons, they could actually go for the Arlots, heroes of the likes, and you have Novaria as their ban. So Novaria is actually really nice because you don't want a hero to slow you down with the Astral Echo, even give vision, or probably find Kimi and Estes in the middle of the team.
So we should see an Eve here?
Eve is great, but yeah, actually, but you have the Barats. You can go just Detona's Welcome or Flicker if you wanna. Can Kimi? They can.
Sometimes you gotta be brave.
The Eve. Sometimes you gotta be brave.
Sometimes you gotta be brave, Fasha.
I mean, yes, sometimes you gotta be brave, but at the same time, at what cost though? At what cost of the bravery that...
To show your opponents that you got the cojones.
Now we see a Lilia. Lilia
Actually,
is
Lilia
great.
works here. It works here, yeah.
I think we've seen it already even
Yes.
From a
previous
previous
game as
game,
well, right?
Yeah.
And
GG.
Lilia is great against Estes.
Yes,
So just
yes.
imagine you're doing the ultimate for the Estes and you just have this burst. The spam potential of the shadow energy is longer as compared to the duration of the ultimate of the Estes. So that's a great answer for Twisted Minds. The one hero that could complete this is whether or not they will use X-Board as their jungler. But I think EXP lane would also work since they have a lot of other options.
I mean, it's crazy. Right now, we are seeing that Team Falcons definitely has what it takes to go in for the sustain-wise. The question is, can they actually pull through with a little bit of damage since Granger will be picked up as well as Lapu Lapu. I think you guys already talked about it, how Lapu Lapu might actually be picked up.
Wait.
But that it was for the Twisted Minds, right? So this is interesting. Is it like they're trying to steal away so that Twisted Minds doesn't get it?
Probably, or maybe force Lilia to use that black shoes as early as possible. But yeah, we have Barats. I'm assuming this is the jungler for Team Falcons because you have Lapu on the EXP lane. This is interesting as to how Team Falcons will execute this type of hero composition. But for Team Twisted Minds, they have the damage, they have everything on check.
Yep, like we predicted, it looks like the X-Board is going to flex on the EXP. So now we're going to throw it over to Mirko and Naisu. Hopefully you guys had enough rest because we're jumping into game number 2.
We did get enough rest, but I hope the players did, man, because Mirko, that was an intense game number 1. I mean, the longest one we've had so far in MWI.
Yep. We literally heard them. I mean, they were in front of our casting room. And we heard the coach say, you know what, guys, we only have 4 minutes. Come on, we gotta talk about strats now.
They gotta lock in here. Welcome once again to the Land of Dawn. It's game number 2 in this best of 3 between this heated matchup from Twisted Minds versus Team Falcons. And talk about the momentum in favor of Twisted Minds after that incredible defense and turnaround they did and they pulled off in game 1. So moving forward, we'll see if Team Falcons has the adjustment, if the draft is good enough. Now, they are leaning towards the play style that we've seen them kind of favor throughout the MWI performances so far. And yeah, that's the Estes. That was a big part of what they wanted to go through with a game plan in their competitions with other teams.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with the panel there. Lilia is actually really, really good up against a composition like this. Again, Barats is very immobile. You want to just stand your ground. And when you're up against those blooms, there's a reason Miss Meow went Lethal Ignition, Bargain Hunter, Inspire. She just wants to deal as much damage as she can. And on top of that, everybody's really going to be clumping up. So Lilia gets even more value. And you can already see the mid lane dominance that Lilia has at the start of the game. Mid prio will probably always be for the Lilia.
It's interesting that the, now this is the second time we see the Lilia come through. Maybe Miss Meow getting a little inspiration.
First time they won.
Yeah. And, with that being said, I think overall, you just want to be able to play against the crazy sustainability that this lineup from Team Falcons is going to be able to provide. And, to a sense, they have some of their own. I mean, even with a Kalea there to help out some of the team is going to be great in early skirmishes, but ultimately it's the itemization that'll later come into play here, especially for Twisted Minds. But if anything, the last game was proof enough. So Team Falcons, I hope they did have enough time to kind of re-lock in, because that's what they have to do here. Oh, they already get the flicker out from Livin. Turtle for the fight. Wow. It might be just secured, though.
It's free. Taking away Ray. Lyrics is doing a lot of damage now. Has lost insanity and will be able to escape. Velvet goes in Bravest Fighter. And that's about it. No pick on the board. Twisted Minds, with the joy, are the ones who pick up Turtle 1.
Seems like they wanted to make a play down there, in the bottom side of the map, the XP lane, but it was a little too late. The timing was just not there for them, and so they give up that objective. Now, in the grand scheme of things, at least for right now, it doesn't mean too much. Livin being quite aggressive.
Okay. He has the Purify. Traction Pulse already with Purify there. Oh, right into Lunar, but it's going to be the music of Hyde that gets the kill. SOD landed early. They're going to go for it. Now a dive full on. That's going to be the Tsunami Slam, locking her down. Name's taken out as they go for more. Pippin into the chopping block. Has a blitz into the Moon Goddess as Hyde tries to run and will be able to get out. A 2-0 lead for the Turtle.
Twisted Minds looking a little different here, building on the momentum once again from game one. Everywhere on the map right now, they are winning. And even for the rest of the squad here for Twisted Minds, they'll go ahead and continue to build up on the lead. I mean, now it's a minor one, you know, 1,000 gold, but you see how they juggled things under that tier 1 turret is what was really impressive. And they can continue to do that. Now Team Falcons have to watch out because as we look at the instant replay, you see this. Hyde sees the angle. She goes right for it. And then with Miss Meow there, this is one of the things about the Lilia, you know, she didn't have enough mana there to kind of continue to pop off, but they still find names. And you know, you might not kill the Estes, but you get what you wanted, basically.
Now they're gonna go for more. It seems like the goal lead is still very manageable, right? Team Falcons, despite that early hurdle that they had to deal with, they're still locked in. They're still calm, composed, setting up the neutral objective already again. It's just Names is gonna have a bit worse of a time to getting those item power spikes.
This is the better time though. The second turtle of the game is up. Team Falcons is like, let's go ahead and make it. Whoa, whoa! What? Mid lane? Oh, I guess it was the Tsunami Slam.
You're right. Last Insanity used up as well. Yui, no Purify, Miss Meow. Right there too. Now as Hyde goes in. The Electrifying beats and there's no response from Sunlight. No Detonus welcome. Free neutral objective again. 3-0. And the Turtle 11 going in for the dive. Names will respect it, but look at Lunar up top just munching on the turret. The entire turret shield taken into Lunar's pockets.
And the turret on top of it, man!
4 minutes and a turret. This is looking bad for Team Falcons.
This is probably one of the faster starts we've seen so far, objectively and building up on the gold lead here. Twisted Minds, they are out to prove a point. And to want to get a sweep already with everything falling in place in the early game, and I feel like even to a sense, Livin, she's doing a lot better. I mean, she's feeling good. Remind you, she played at the Minotaur in the previous game where, you know, again, if you don't have the flicker available, you're kind of just there, you know? But with a Kalea, that's a little different of a story. And she can make moves with her kit alone, but even with a flicker, Names.
2v1, Hyde
heal.
Couldn't really go for this. It doesn't look like she wants to go for it.
Wow, Hyde
goes back in over to Pippin, gets the kill! Names! Wow! Walking back towards a frontliner. Pippin down, turret down. Hyde just dashes away again. There's no trade.
She's styling
for Team Falcons. Nice. So Falcons have always gate-kept Twisted Minds in the past. They've always been the ones to stop Twisted Minds from qualifying to an international, from making it past the groups in the international. But now, Livin, caught a traction pulse, able to flick her out. Velvet walks back up, but look at the glue. Spirit of Misery locked her down. Last Insanity under the turret, unable to get it down. Sunlight looking for the Detonus welcome. Can she get it? No, she doesn't even use it.
She couldn't use it. I don't know why. I mean, again, they were lined up right there. Multiple low health bars, too. It's unfortunate because that could have been a moment for Team Falcons to...
Whoa.
Oh, no. Hyde again.
Electrifying beats. Let's get the Moon Goddess. Gets Pippin to safety, but I think that might have been Hyde's main goal, to bait it out.
Hyde and the rest of the squad from Twisted Minds right now is just on a different level. It seems like they're playing at their own rhythm. And they're just keeping Team Falcons from really doing anything here, Mirko. I mean, there's not really a window that they're able to get unless, like we saw earlier, where maybe that one Death Sonata would have changed things a little bit, but still, this is really bleak already for Team Falcons. They're going to have to go ahead and channel their own turnaround, comeback potential in this game number 2.
Falcons have been caught playing checkers, and Twisted Minds are the ones playing chess. They've truly twisted Falcons' minds. In game 1, it was a comeback. Game 2, I don't think we expected this, you know? Like, we expected the composition to do really well, yes, but with all, you know, with all the components, but a 4,000 gold lead in 7 minutes?
Right now, the mid lane's going to be the focus. Not sure if you really want to press this in. Lyrics taking quite a bit of shots.
Oh! Drop back again. Still no Detonus welcome. Finally lands it now, but it's Tsunami Slam will be used up, and that's even Hyde taken down for Skypiercer's stack, and this could be the turning moment. Double kill for Names. It's a triple for Names. And it might just be a Maniac and a Savage. It really depends on how they take this fight. SOD not taken, just a tier 2.
Hey, that's what they needed right there, Names. She saw the moment. They're gonna get the turret here too. Team Falcons finds a little bit of hope after that moment in the mid lane. And this might be the pendulum swinging back in their favor if they can. You can see from the instant replay, the barrage of just crowd control being thrown at here. Able to find Hyde, able to find Livin, and then Lyrics with that triple kill for Names. So, and mind you, she did this, I believe, after she got the Skypiercer, so she's got some of the stacks down too. So she's got the 3 stacks. This is great and exactly what they needed, because it's still a bit of a lead here for Twisted Minds on everything they did the past 8 minutes. But Team Falcons might have found themselves in a position to actually go ahead and find a way to maybe stop this Lord just being taken here from Twisted Minds.
Those stacks are game-changing, Naisu. You get 2 stacks and usually you're already online. The fact that she got 3,
yeah,
this could change the whole game. Yes, it looks like Twisted Minds are still the ones ahead, but ladies and gentlemen, never underestimate the power of a Granger with 3 stacks. And a composition like this, they can just play to protect Names.
That's all they have to do. Literally the name of the game. So with this, Lyrics will be some of the front side, Hyde just spotting things out, and they'll play the field with Lunar, keeping her there on the top side. She's already done a phenomenal job at pushing down these lanes, pushing down the turrets, providing that pressure.
Lyrics.
Oh, Lyrics, okay.
A bit too early,
yeah. That's unfortunate. That's a big ultimate down, but you can already see Lunar still there on the top side. She's going to force Team Falcons to respond. Yui goes to deal with it, using the traction pulse. Again, both teams just staring each other down for the first Lord, playing from the macro. But those shots from Names are going to hurt. Livin, I don't know if she wants to actually push through this. She goes in for maybe a flicker with a Tsunami Slam. But right now, neither team can really commit to the Lord.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Team Falcons to hold on to the Lord. It's going to be tough for Twisted Minds to just commit as well, knowing that they have Lunar on the side, constantly pushing. Lunar gets a purple buff too, so that's another small win for Twisted Minds. And at this point, it really seems like Twisted Minds have literally copied and pasted what Names was doing to them in Game 1. Constantly pushing in the side lane, already getting the DHS early, and now probably building towards the Melfic gun.
Yeah, it's...
There you go,
big,
yeah.
Big choices here for our gold laners especially. A little bit of catch up here for Names, but didn't fall too far behind once again because of the triple she has, so she's able to actually pump out some decent damage, even with MLBB Roy there. Livin gonna jump forward.
Whoa, whoa! Livin Tsunami Slammer to find Names, the flicker out to safety. Despite it all, Bravest Fighter to the back now is asking me to hide. Look for the damage back onto Velvet, who doesn't have the Bravest Fighter anymore. Lyrics back at it again, trying to get some HP, has the immortality, but I think she needs to just back away here. No Faraga armor, Spear of Misery, Dexter's welcome, not landing! Oh, it's a disaster! The Spear of Misery lands on the back line, now it's Lunar! Pierces through! Gets one, Vivid down, Velvet down as well! Now with SOD! From Lunar! And the Savage in Game 2!
Twisted Minds will make it happen! Off of the mistakes from Team Falcons. A Savage for Lunar, and now they're going to march into the base of Team Falcons.
Holy Defense should stop them from ending the game here, but they'll get a base turret at 11 minutes without a Lord. Nice, so all of a sudden, it's the Twisted Minds fans who are louder in the building.
Instant replay, look at this. The Daytona's welcome didn't land, and now Lunar. All the room in the world to go in, even with the Spear Destruction, the positioning. She was locked in for that Savage. An amazing play just from the team alone for Twisted Minds. For Team Falcons, that's demoralizing. They have to be able to dig down deep to keep it together. Lord's gonna make its way down the middle. Lunar picking up a little bit of defensiveness here, picks up the Rose Gold, and now they are prepped and ready to possibly end the game in a sweep. Can Team Falcons once again replicate what Twisted Minds did in the previous game? This is only the first Lord. They should be able to clear it out. Oh, Livin.
Looking for that, goes for the Tsunami Slam onto the Barats now as Lunar goes through. It's going to be melting down high, taken down as well. Velvet, able to stun, able to find it onto Lunar. But still, Twisted Minds hold on. Nursing damage again. No, the damage! Double kill and another triple! Is it going to be a double savage in team number 2? That's the Maniac Savage! Lunar! A double savage to make it to the quarterfinals and to knock their bitter rivals for the longest time.
What an ending for Twisted Minds. Game